Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for June 2nd, 2025. Money in the Bank is this coming Saturday in Los Angeles, California. I will be doing live coverage on NoDQ.com. Before we get to the Raw recap, shout out to Caleb Jacobs, who sent in a $5.76 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Caleb says, today in WWE history, 11 years ago, Seth Rollins betrayed the Shield. Time really flies. That feels like yesterday when Seth Rollins hit Roman Reigns in the back with the chair. It became an iconic moment in WWE history. WWE has referenced it many times over the years. It was one of the most memorable betrayals in the history of the company. I still remember that one fan yelling no as the chair was being swung. Great moment. Really cemented Seth Rollins as a top heel in the company. Hard to believe that was 11 years ago. Thank you again for the super chat, Caleb. Now, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. We opened up the show with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee announcing that because McAfee won a bet with a sports team match, Michael Cole had to wear a tank top. And it was the tank top of the Indiana Pacers. They were the team that won for McAfee. McAfee had to point out that Cole looked like an asshole. Michael Cole looked good. 60-year-old man. He's still in pretty decent shape. Props to him. All right, we opened up with CM Punk coming to the ring, hyping up that this was going to be a new summer of Punk. He vowed to become a 3-time Money in the Bank winner and teased going after John Cena. He mentioned that Cena sold his soul to a bald fraud goof. Sami Zayn then came down to the ring. Zayn said, like Punk, he has ambitions to become world champion, but Money in the Bank didn't pan out for him. He said that Punk must win Money in the Bank because if Rollins wins, it's going to be a tough time for everybody. WWE will turn into something that they do not like. However, Zayn said that if Punk wins and becomes champion, there will be a time when they will be face-to-face again, and they will have a different type of conversation. Punk said he looks forward to it. The two men shook hands, and that was the setup for the main event of Raw, CM Punk in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Solid opening to the show. Backstage, Roxanne Perez was offering to help Liv Morgan in her match. Well, actually, Raquel's match, I should say. And Liv told Roxanne to stay out of the way. Actually, it was Liv's match. Liv had a match on the show, and then also Raquel had a match. But this was specifically for Liv's match. Liv wanted Roxanne to stay out of her life. We had our first match of the evening, Liv versus Ivy Nile versus Stephanie Vaquer. In Stephanie's first match as an official member of the Raw roster. She has, in fact, been called up. She is done with NXT, although she will be part of the Worlds Collide event this coming weekend. She got a good reaction. WWE aired a video package showing off her credentials, and she got a nice reaction from the fans. She did a lot of moves here in the beginning. Devil's kiss to both of them. I will say it's not the same without Booker T. Pat McAfee has to react to it like Booker T does. Liv Morgan broke up one of them to get some heat. I liked that. Now, one thing in this match, and this was recurring throughout the broadcast, we got R-Truth chants. R-Truth is done with WWE. WWE will not be renewing his contract. People are very upset about this. We will be talking about this more on the No DQ review Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. R-Truth is gone, and fans were vocal on this show. There were signs and there were chants. There were chants, not very loud in the opening segment, but they were louder in this segment, and there were more throughout the show. Crowd definitely was vocal about R-Truth. Match was good, a little bit distracting with the R-Truth chants, but still pretty good match here. And they did the Tower of Doom spot, which I'm telling you, easiest way to get a "This is awesome" chant. And sure enough, it worked. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." They love the Tower of Doom. It never fails to get a big reaction. Liv then took down both women with the double code breaker, and then Liv hit Stephanie with the Oblivion, and Ivy Nile attempted to steal the pin but was not successful. Liv got sent into the steel steps, but then Stephanie was able to pin Ivy with the SVB, the Stephanie Vaquer bomb, got the 1-2-3 victory, and she officially advances to Money in the Bank. I figured this would be the outcome. Stephanie's not going to lose her first match on the main roster. Ivy Nile took the fall. That was also expected. Stephanie may end up losing at Money in the Bank. She's going to be pulling double duty. So if she loses the second match, they can always say, well, she had to wrestle twice in one night. Maybe they do an injury angle at Worlds Collide. Maybe the opponent's double team her after the match or something like that. So they can come up with something so Stephanie has an excuse for not winning the ladder match. But she's officially in it. And maybe if WWE really wanted to build her up strong, she wins the match. But her character doesn't need to be cashing in. So I don't think she will win it. We'll be talking about predictions on Thursday night. And it will be a special time because I have something going on Thursday night. We'll be doing it at 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Special start time for Money in the Bank predictions. Make sure you remember that. I'll be reminding people on social media. Stacked women's Money in the Bank, by the way, shaping up to be a hell of a match. Now, we had Paul Heyman approaching AJ Styles about the Money in the Bank qualifier main event, and Heyman suggested that Styles concentrate on Dominic Mysterio and the Intercontinental title. Styles saw right through Heyman, said he doesn't respond well to threats, and he said he knows Rollins' plan, and everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Next up, we had a Rusev video package talking about his old friend Sheamus. They even showed a clip of them in the League of Nations, and he said, "How dare Sheamus act like he's disappointed?" Rusev said Sheamus is a legend, but it will be his honor to take Sheamus out of the field, and warned Sheamus to stay out of his way. Then we had Sheamus interviewed, and he was giving a pep talk to the Alpha Academy. He said that Rusev was a groomsman in his wedding, but Rusev made bad decisions that imploded his WWE career. And furthermore, Sheamus said that Rusev's career after WWE lasted about as long as Rusev Day, 24 hours. Sheamus finished by saying that he bullies the bullies. Nice little promo here from Sheamus. And then we had Finn Balor and JD McDonough. No Carlito. Carlito is also leaving WWE, and he was not on this show. Looks like we will not be seeing Carlito again. No more funny moments with Raquel. Carlito is, like R-Truth, done. And he did not get any chance, so highly unlikely we see Carlito back at this point. R-Truth will probably see again sometime down the line. Anyways, it was Balor and JD versus the War Raiders, and no Valhalla. She is gone too. Her contract is not being renewed. I feel bad for Eric, even though it felt like WWE had moved on without Valhalla. War Raiders as a babyface act, not really needing a manager. But nonetheless, it's sad for him. New Day was out there on commentary, but they quickly got ejected after they were mad that Ivar taunted them and they tried to interfere. They got tossed out by the referee. And then later on, Viking Raiders or War Raiders were on the verge of winning the match, but then Roxanne Perez interfered, got on the apron, and that allowed JD to send Ivar into the ring post, and then Balor picked up the win with the coup de grace. Solid match here. I like the storyline because Roxanne was told to not help Liv Morgan, and Liv lost her match, but then Roxanne helped out here, and Balor and JD McDonough picked up the victory. So the plot thickens with that. We then had a Becky Lynch video package, and she basically said it's a lose-lose situation for Lyra at Money in the Bank. And then Lyra came to the ring for a promo. She called out Becky Lynch. She said that Becky's downfall has to be studied. Becky came out there, and Liv talked about how she's hangry. She's angry that Becky Lynch betrayed her. Nobody has hurt her like Becky. Crowd was chanting "what," by the way, at Lyra. So her promos are still not really connecting with the fans. And then Becky said that Lyra wants to replace her, but nobody can. Lyra wanted a little preview of Money in the Bank, but Becky said she doesn't fight in Tulsa, and she'll see her in Los Angeles. And then Lyra ran after Becky, attacked her. They were brawling, but then the officials broke them up. Thankfully, they didn't do the extended pull-apart brawl. They just got them apart, and that was it. So I'm glad they didn't do the full-out pull-apart brawl. Would really be a bit much and overdone. Solid segment, but yeah, Lyra just doesn't seem to be getting the strong reactions. Like they do the entrance, the woo part when she comes out, but when she's talking, it doesn't seem like the people are all that invested. I wonder if we'll get a title change. We'll talk about it more Thursday night, 5 p.m. Eastern on the No DQ YouTube channel. And backstage, Rhea Ripley shook hands with Stephanie Vaquer, I guess teasing something for the future. We then had Jey Uso and Sami Zayn going up against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, with Paul Heyman coming out there for the entrance of the duo. Production was alternating between Braun's music and Braun Breaker's music. Both of them treated like equals. And it was a fairly standard tag team match. And for good reason here, because there wasn't going to be a clear-cut winner. We had Jay taking out both guys with a dive, and then Seth Rollins interfered, stopped to Jey Uso, causing a disqualification, and then CM Punk made the save with a steel chair. As Ian said, it set up the main event, but it's pretty obvious. CM Punk comes out there to make the save. You have to wonder, is somebody going to get involved in his match? Backstage, Liv Morgan had a word with Finn Balor. Finn said Roxanne was just trying to help. And then Liv said that Roxanne needs to stay in the back for Raquel's match that was coming up. And that led to Kairi Sane versus Raquel. And Raquel was largely dominating this match. Liv Morgan interfered a little bit, cheap shot when the referee was distracted. Crowd was into it, but also they were chanting for R-Truth again. They did a "What's Up" chant. Both women's matches, they were chanting for R-Truth pretty loudly. Hey, R-Truth was a member of Judgment Day, right? After the break, Kairi started to make a comeback, but then Liv Morgan once again got involved. She was on the apron, but then women's champion Io Sky attacked Liv Morgan, and that allowed Kairi Sane to pick up the win with the insane elbow, building up some momentum. Match was solid. It was fine. We then had Karrion Kross backstage calling Sami Zayn a liar, saying that Sami Zayn is not a good guy, and if he went bad, he could become champion 10 times over. Zayn said that Kross is wrong. Kross said he might be wrong, but also he might be right. They're continuing this storyline. I really wish they would pull the trigger with something here. Get Karrion Kross in front of the crowd, for crying out loud. We had a video package for Jey Uso and Gunther, their world title matches next week. And then Gunther had a little talk with Jey. And Gunther said that Jey has tried to be a great champion, but refuses to think with his head instead of his heart. Gunther brought up how Jey is helping everybody, whether it's CM Punk or Sami Zayn, Cody at Money in the Bank 2 nights before the match for the world title. Not what a world champion should be doing. And he said he was thanking Jey for making it very easy for him. And the party is over in 1 week on Monday Night Raw. Good segment here to set up the world title match. Jey got in his face, though, and said he's got one word: tap. Jey Uso staying defiant. Jey Uso apparently deleted a bunch of his tweets, and people are wondering if that means anything. Could just be something teasing the match for next week. We'll see. We had our main event, Money in the Bank qualifier. AJ Styles going up against CM Punk and El Grande Americano. First time in 20 plus years that CM Punk and AJ Styles were in a match against each other. That's been a long time. CM Punk wanted Americano checked out, making sure that he didn't have that mask, that face thing. What is it? The plate in his mask. And the referee did check him out. Punk and Styles double teamed Americano and then went after each other for a little bit. Punk tried to remove the mask of El Grande Americano. And then during the break, or after the break, I should say, the crowd was chanting, "He's Chad Gable." No, he's not. Americano put the ankle lock on Punk, but then Styles took out Americano with the Styles Clash. Punk broke up the pin, and then Punk hit Americano with the GTS. And at this point, we got the interference. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed attacked Punk, but then Sami Zayn and Jey Uso made the save. Styles wiped out everybody, and then Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, but Americano headbutted Styles, presumably with the plate, the metal plate. He must have put it in while everybody was distracted by the interference. And Americano got the 1-2-3 victory. So now Americano will be in Money in the Bank while Chad Gable is fighting at World's End. I wonder if they'll swap. If Chad Gable and Americano will make a deal and Chad Gable gets the Money in the Bank spot and Americano fights at Worlds Collide. we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, no CM Punk in Money in the Bank, which I kind of think is a spoiler for one of the people at Money in the Bank not winning. We'll talk about that more on Thursday for predictions. Remember, 5 p.m. Pacific, or no, see, I already screwed up. 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific predictions for Money in the Bank this coming Thursday. Predictable angle. I figured we were going to get the interference here. Match was good, though. And then afterwards, Seth Rollins attacked Punk. Punk fought back, but then Bron Breakker speared Punk. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn tried to help, but they got laid out. And then Jey Uso was taken out with the stomp. And then Bronson Reed came off the top with the tsunamis onto Jey Uso. So they really put the beat down on Jey Uso, stacking the deck against Jey. I have a feeling Jey's retaining next week. I know people don't want to hear that when it comes to a potential title change, but my gut feeling is a certain veteran wrestler known for his spears, bald head, goatee. I don't know. I feel like he might be showing up next week to cost Gunther the world title. We'll see. That's next week, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Somebody has a certain retirement match coming up. And I feel like Gunther is going to be his opponent. All right, before we get to the points for Raw, shout out to Caleb, who sent in another $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Caleb. Much appreciated. Caleb says his dream match happened in WWE with Punk and AJ Styles. And then as far as R-Truth goes, R-Truth had a great career. He can go to NWA. He is a former 2-time NWA champion. He could. My feeling is R-Truth will work in TNA. I mean, he can work anywhere he wants. He's going to be a hot commodity. I don't think we'll see him in AEW just because I think R-Truth will not go there for the sake of getting a WWE Hall of Fame induction. And he'll probably get a Legends deal. In fact, I would be shocked if he doesn't. I think we'll see R-Truth on WWE TV, whether it's once in a while, maybe a little cameo here and there, but I think we'll see R-Truth, especially after all the negative feedback this week. You know, he might get signed back to a Legends deal very quickly. You know, I just think they were looking to get rid of that big contract. That's all. We'll talk more about this on the review, but thank you again, AJ. And of course, cool to see CM Punk and AJ in the ring. You know, that was a nice moment. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, is Roman Reigns the only thing stopping Seth Rollins for winning? Well, CM Punk too. I could see CM Punk interfering, but yeah, maybe Roman Reigns costs Seth Rollins the match because they really made Rollins' group look strong and made it seem like those guys are going to need some more help. That could be Roman Reigns. We'll see. But yeah, I wonder if Seth Rollins is going to be screwed at Money in the Bank. We'll talk more about that on Thursday night. So points for Raw. I thought Raw was good. Another somewhat average show, but you had a few big moments. I will give the show a 6 out of 10. I did think overall it was a good Raw, and the stuff at the end did a pretty solid job of building up Money in the Bank. 6 out of 10 for Raw. And we'll be talking about R-Truth, Carlito, Valhalla. We might be talking about more, who knows. But Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. No DQ review. We'll be discussing the departures and some other things heading into Money in the Bank. And then Thursday night will be the Money in the Bank predictions. Special start time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Got content coming up on the channel. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for live coverage. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.